What's up, A to Z Sports here live on a Tuesday. Gonna have a good show with the second half, or maybe the last third of yesterday's topic is going to carry over into a full show today because honestly, I think it deserved its own full attention because we'll kind of reset. We'll go through what we did yesterday with Easton's 9 players on the Titans who could have a chance to be top 10 at their position next summer when ESPN does its top 10 in each position group series. As the quarterbacks came out yesterday, the off-ball linebackers, super exciting. Off-ball linebackers top 10 list came out this morning. Wide receivers tomorrow, and I believe corners wraps things up this week for ESPN's conversation on that side.
No Titans off-ball linebackers on that list.
No.
Oh, okay. I had holding out hope that position was going to be one that got some recognition at.
I honestly didn't even click on it. Maybe
you don't have to click to know. No, you don't have no they're not on there.
I know if Cody Barton didn't get a link, a backlink on the conversation or not either. But no, today we're talking about. So just to kind of reset, Easton had his article that came out on Sunday, and we went through his cool takes for guys who have a chance to be in the top 10 next year. His warm take for players who have a chance to be in top 10 at their position next year. Now we've got the flaming takes, and there are 3 Titans players we'll talk about, but we'll center this around Cam Ward and his path to a top 10 quarterback ranking discussion. Not top 10 quarterback ranking, but a top 10 ranking discussion and what it can mean for his other Titans teammates. So Easton will throw shade at the end of this show like we do every Tuesday, but welcome in. No hat for you, as Bearded Kunu points out. I pointed out the same thing as well. So let's get this thing off and rolling here.
Yeah, I am getting out of town, heading on vacation as soon as we are done here with the show. So I would just wake up, do the show, throw a hat on, and then figure out the rest of my day afterwards. But today, trying to get ahead of the ball. Looking forward to our conversation, though, before I skip town, talking about some players that, as John Gruden screams at me from my computer, there are some interesting things to finish up our conversation from yesterday with. So looking forward to wrapping that up, hearing from a John Gruden interview, which is the point of him yelling at me, and talking a little bit about Cam Ward as we inch closer and closer to Titans training camp. I was actually at Titans HQ yesterday for yet another secret mission. You know me, the espionage, the spy work that I do on the side. I was there. There are people in the building already, which was kind of surprising. I was like, is this place going to be a ghost town? No, they're getting ready to ramp up here, and looking forward to being back there on a regular basis.
Surprised that people work there. It is a place of work.
There are. Well,
they have accountants. They have all types of people. They have so many different roles that we don't think about for an actual business.
Exactly. I texted one of the coaching staff guys yesterday. Like, I was looking for you today. Didn't see you out there. You just, not at work today. He's like, there were people there today. It's like, yeah, man. Like the rest of the operation is in fact a multi-million-dollar operation. You don't just take the summer off. This is not the local high school. So looking forward to being back there quite a bit, talking about these guys. We need you to like the show this morning. That is what we need you to do here at the top. Hit that like button on Facebook, on YouTube. That thumbs up button does a lot for us. And then jump into the comments. Want to hear your thoughts on the Cam Ward of it all, the hot takes of it all, the top 10 path and impact of it all. Got a good show for you today, Austin. Let's get started.
Yep, let's do it officially. Welcome to the A to Z Sports here live on this Tuesday. I'm Austin Stanley. He's Easton Freeze, our Titans reporter for A to Z Sports.com. We're Nashville's on-demand sports.network, going live weekday mornings at 8 Central Time on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Links to the show segment by segment on our Twitter X timeline. Hit us up on Instagram, TikTok, and Threads for more great Titans content. Leave us a 5-star Google review. Sean King says, good morning, Titans fam. 5 stars. 5 stars on Google review would be great. 5 stars anywhere else you listening can vote on A to Z Sports for 5 stars would be awesome too. But got to thank our sponsors. They make it happen for us, and they help out all of you. Wilson County Hyundai, make them a part of your new car buying process. See them in Lebanon or online, wilsoncountyhyundai.com. The Bone and Joint Institute, boneandjointtn.org, the region's destination for comprehensive orthopedic and sports medicine care. And Barton Drury Insurance Group, customized solutions for all of your insurance needs. They're online and local at bartondrury.com. So here's what we've got for the show today, because yesterday we went through Easton's takes on Titans players who could have a chance to play their way into a top 10 player at their position discussion a year from now after this season. The cool takes, Jeffrey Simmons, who's already a top 5 defensive lineman considered as of ESPN's polls this past week. Peter Skoronski was an honorable mention for interior offensive line. So cool takes for Easton for both those guys to be inside the top 10 next year. The warm takes that we had a pretty solidly sized discussion about yesterday of these guys to be top 10 at their position next year. 3 second-year guys in Jarvis Brownlee Jr., Devondre Sweat, and J.C. Latham, and then running back Tony Pollard. So we'll find out if Jarvis Brownlee Jr. can find his way in the conversation and like, hey, watch out for this guy maybe because the cornerback rankings come out later on this week. I doubt it. I don't think he's going to be mentioned at all. I also don't think my gut tells me that 0 of these 4 will make the top 10 in their position groups next year. I do think a couple of them, 3 of them, honestly, maybe all 4 of them should be at least have their name listed in the article, but not top 10. That's just my gut feeling. So, Easton, I'll toss it to you. You've got 3 names on your flaming takes graphic of guys who have a chance to be top 10 at their position. Let's show the graphic before we have a Cam Ward conversation because your flaming takes on who could work their way, play their way to top 10 at their position group next season in the NFL.
Yes. Do we have the do I need to go get the graphic? Here's the graphic.
I have it. Yeah, there you go.
Okay. Here it is. These are the guys that I wrote about being theoretically possible to make the list, but boy, would it be a surprise. And that is, of course, L'Jarius Sneed, Calvin Ridley, and Cam Ward. There's a little bit of messaging in my graphic design art here for you. As you will notice, Ridley is very large as compared to all of the other guys that I put in these graphics. Sorry, what did I say? Ridley? Yes, Sneed is very large as compared to all the other guys that I put in these graphics. That is not an intentional choice. That is a choice out of necessity because there are so few pictures of him available to us on the internet as a Titan. This was the best.
We have the ability and the license to use.
Right. I mean, frankly, just in general, period, there aren't many, but there are even fewer that we have the license to use. And that is a reflection of the fact that he has not been out there much. So that's a big part of the flaming element of this, of course. We know with Sneed what the deal is there. But I think today we want to start with the Cam Ward of it all, if I'm not mistaken. Well, you got a video to play there?
Yeah, we do. I do want to get to something because I see Tall Texan says Sneed, if healthy, wouldn't be a surprise at all. Darren says the only one I could see is Sneed.
I told you pre-show that I thought this was a possibility, that the people might see Sneed as the most likely of this group, and you thought that they just hate Sneed at this point. But
I think
I'm with these folks. I think they get it. I think they understand. Because I too am old enough to remember when L'Jarius Sneed earned a $90 million contract. And nobody really blinked an eye at that value because he was that valuable.
It wasn't 90.
His contract's not 90. What is it? How much money?
78,
I think he's
something like that. No, Calvin's is 92.
Oh, I might be mixing the two.
Yeah.
It was a lot of money, the point is. And whatever they paid him, 76. Yeah, you're right. I'm mixing Calvin's number. So $76 million over 4 years is the ticket price, the window price, but that wasn't something that anybody was particularly like, wow, can you believe they paid Sneed that much money? And that's because 1 year ago today, or yesterday or whatever, 1 year ago last summer, that was what he was worth. And he had one nightmarish year, which, as we've talked about, I've brought this up a couple of times on the morning show with the cornerback position. We talked about it with Brownlee yesterday. It is a finicky, a non-predictive position when it comes to looking year to year. These things go up and they go down. Even the best, the Jalen Ramseys of the world, have shockingly disappointing years followed by incredible all-world years. And sometimes it's within the same system with the same teammates and the same coach. And you're just like, what? Why? And not to dive too deep into it, but it is largely because the cornerback position, the job that you are doing, is to live on a razor thin margin of complete or incomplete. And you can play 100% of your team's defensive snaps in a season. You can play over 1,000 snaps. And if on 10 of them, right, so 1% of those snaps, you get torched for a big, long touchdown, then guess what, brother? You had a bad season, even though that was 1% of your snaps. You could be incredible on the other 90% or the other 99%, and it does not matter.
It's kind of like the opposite of Benton's, right? Like if you get taxed this season, oh, damn, look at that sack guy, big sack guy. Like that was 12 plays. 12 plays, right? And so, and Harold Landry is kind of like
Landry. Yes, Landry is the perfect example of
9
that.
plays. Yeah, he had 9 plays last year.
Watch the other plays from him last year. You see a very different picture.
Watch the other 700 of Harold Landry and see what you think. But so Todd says, didn't get anything from Snead last year. Kind of a contribution would be an improvement. Already lost that 3rd rounder, so it's about cash now, right? Yes, and it's about making sure that you have a good player to play corner in a very important position too. That helps out the rest of your offense and your defense and everything. So your flaming takes start with L'Jarius Snead. The chance of him will come back to maybe a little later, but it would be a tremendous. I mean, the guy's got the talent. It would be a tremendous turnaround. I mean, I don't know if L'Jarius Snead's considered a top 10 cornerback in the NFL after this upcoming season. I mean, he's probably in the running for NFL Comeback Player of the Year conversations if that's the case. Which, hey, would be good for the Titans if that were to happen. But let's talk more about Cam Ward, because Cam Ward is on your flaming takes opinion of a top 10 quarterback who could be in the making. So why did you put Cam, before we get to the Gino Torretta comment from John Gruden, why did you put Cam Ward on this list?
Well, I wrote an article, might have been a month ago at this point or longer, about the comparisons that are naturally being made for Cam Ward to recent rookie quarterback successes and what expectations are and aren't fair. And I talked about particularly Jaden Daniels, CJ Stroud, and who else? Oh, and Caleb Williams. 3 guys from the past 2 years, all top 2 picks. Right? Yeah, all top number 1 or number 2 picks. Mm-hmm. And so in that article, I basically talked about how, yes, rookie Caleb Williams was kind of seen as a bummer of a year just because of how sky high his expectations were. And I think more importantly, the unrealistic expectations the Bears fans had about the rest of their team. And, the fact that they just kind of overlooked the point of, hey, we took the quarterback who maybe his only glaring flaw is that he holds onto the ball too long and put him behind one of the worst offensive lines in the league and thought that would work out. And it super didn't. He also had terrible coaches, obviously. But the whole offensive line thing matching with his style was a big disaster. And you saw the Bears this year go out and spend $2 quadrillion on their interior offensive line, which was wise of them to do. But statistically, Caleb had a year that I think Cam Ward could come up with those same numbers, and it would be actually a good year, like a success for Cam Ward, especially in the situation that he's in with the Titans' limitations on their roster. And the larger point of that article is to say, man, I understand that CJ Stroud was what he was as a rookie. I understand what Jaden Daniels was what he was as a rookie. Both of those guys cracking this ESPN list in their rookie years. I mean, Jaden Daniels was number 5 in the whole league, which is kind of nuts to me.
Jaden Daniels is behind only Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, and Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, that's some pretty wild recency bias, even though I loved what Jaden Daniels did last year. I'm going to need to see it again, especially after
but for real though. Number 6 is Matthew Stafford. Number 7 is Justin Herbert. Number 8 is Jared Goff. Number 9 is Jalen Hurts. Number 10 is Baker Mayfield. So it's
outrageous that Hurts, that Herbert and Stafford at the bare minimum aren't ahead of Jaden Daniels. It's pretty ridiculous.
But my point is,
what it is.
There's not as much solidified quarterback dudes after those top 4.
Yes, but I'm also old enough to remember that 1 year ago, we were having this same conversation about, oh my gosh, they're taking over the league with the hottest new thing to come out of 2023, CJ Stroud and Jordan Love, right? They were the ascendant princes of the NFL for the AFC and the NFC after their fantastic. Jordan Love's not a rookie season, right? But it was functionally his rookie season because he'd sat for so long. And both of them, I think in the eyes of the public, had kind of a down year last year. Now, each of them actually had better years than I think they're being given credit for. And maybe they didn't take a big step forward, but they were already so far ahead of where you would expect them to be that the fact that they kind of maintained it in worse situations is impressive. And I still am bullish on both of them being top 10 quarterbacks in the league.
When those two guys are 11 and 12, Stroud's 11 and Love is 12 in the honorable mentions, and that's it.
Right, exactly. So I'm not saying that their first year, their 2023 was fool's gold, but I am saying that I that's kind of a fool me once situation where Jaden Daniels this year, like let's see him do what he did last year for a couple more months now that every defensive coordinator has tape on him. All of the concerns about him in terms of health from pre-draft are still existing. And the bad football that he played last year was when he had broken ribs. So like his superpowers can be damaged relatively easily if he is banged up at all. That is something about his game that you have to keep in mind. And so I hope that he stays healthy and that he's incredible because he's super duper fun to watch, but I just am not buying it quite yet. That's kind of beside the point. What I was trying to get at with mentioning Daniels and Stroud is that it is crazy to me to expect that from Cam Ward because we are coming off of really 2 consecutive years where we saw guys one-upping each other to have arguably had the greatest rookie quarterback season we've ever seen in the history of the NFL. So if that's the bar you're holding Cam Ward to, then you are expecting him to be the 3rd consecutive rookie quarterback to make us say, oh, well, maybe that was the best rookie quarterback season of all time, which is a crazy bar. I mean, I talked about how I thought holding Jeffrey Simmons to a Hall of Fame standard was crazy. This is far crazier.
What?
That all of that being, sorry, I'll let you go, but to bring it back to me even including Cam Ward, because so far all I've argued is that I shouldn't have put him on the list, right? The reason why I did put him on the list is because what if we've seen it, it's happened. It's always a possibility with a top talented draft pick quarterback on a team. So the fact that we have seen it in 2 years, to me, is proof positive that it can happen. There's a difference between recognizing something can happen and expecting it to happen. And that's the plane that I very clunkily just landed there. That's what
and that's true. There's opportunity for it to happen. Doesn't mean you're predicting it to, right? Because Big Ten Jeff's like, oh, Easton should be tested for drugs for this take. You didn't understand the take. Like, that's not what the take was.
I'm sorry, what category did I put this take in?
The flaming take. The flaming take, right? It would be wild, but it's literally happened 2 years in a row. So
yes,
3 years in a row, and there's not another option. Like, there's not another rookie quarterback who could be the 3rd guy in a row other than Cam Ward. Like, Jackson Dart's not going to be at 26th overall. Tyler Shuck isn't going to be it.
Tyler Shuck is going to tear it up in the Big Easy. Don't worry.
I don't know about that. But if he ever signs his contract, maybe. That's something we might talk about tomorrow.
Well, a good point.
So, flaming take of Cam Ward being a top 10 quarterback. So we'll talk about the path of the top 10 for Cam Ward. But I saw this clip early this morning, Easton, John Gruden talking to former Miami quarterback legend Gino Torretta, which I was like, this was just some good insight. And it kind of, there's a top 10 mention of Cam from Gino Torretta in a different aspect, not top 10 rankings, but a top 10 type of guy. And so I thought this was fitting for today's conversation.
Did you see a lot of Cam Ward this past season?
I did. I talked to Shannon Dawson, the OC, and I'm like, well, what's the deal? Because Cam was coming, then he wasn't coming. He was going to the NFL. And then I was like, well, what's the backup plan? He goes, well, we feel pretty good that he was going to come. All I needed was one day of spring ball. I go, this guy has an elite arm. I go, who evaluated him in the NFL? That was my first thought. I go, there's no way he should be here. Like, you watch a guy throw, you can just see it. I mean, let's say there's 100 quarterbacks in the league. 10 guys, maybe the ball comes off a little different.
Yep.
The other 90, everybody looks the same. You could, put a short and T-shirt on, everybody kind of looks the same. And I'm like, they effed up. That was my initial thought, because I was like, he reminded me of when he threw the ball. It was like Warren Moon. When Warren, I remember being in Seattle, it always seemed like he would throw the ball. First off, he never threw a bad ball, always a tight spiral. And the ball would it would almost kind of move for the receiver's angle, make it an easy catchable ball. And that was Cam.
And that was Cam. So Cam and Warren Moon, two guys that wore one for this organization, I guess, or wearing one for this organization. So I thought that was interesting comment from Gino Torretta there, who former Miami quarterback who's been around Cam Ward quite a bit. So now let's ask.
If I'm not mistaken.
Say what?
1992 Heisman winner.
Yeah, look at you. You didn't know who Gino Torretta was 2 hours ago when we talked about it.
Crash course less than that. I crash coursed him like 20 minutes ago.
Yeah, that's right. About an hour and 15 minutes ago. He was like, who's Gino? Gino who?
You know what? Hand up. Didn't watch a lot of 90s Miami Hurricanes.
No, you're missing out. You should go watch the U documentaries for 30 for 30. Those things.
I've heard they were pretty good back then.
Yeah. You should definitely go check that out. But so, all right. Let's ask this question. How likely is Cam Ward to be mentioned in the top 10 quarterbacks article next summer? So I want to be specific with what I'm asking here, because I'm not asking Jeff, I'm not asking how likely is Cam Ward to be ranked top 10 next year. I'm asking how likely is he to be mentioned in this article on a 1 through 10 scale. So I've already told you there's 10 quarterbacks in the top 10. And there are 2 honorable mentions, Stroud and Love. That's 12. There are others receiving votes, and there are 6 others receiving votes. Kyler Murray, Brock Purdy, Dak Prescott, Aaron Rodgers, Tua Tagovailoa, and Bo Nix. So there's a total of 18 quarterbacks. I'm talking about that. How likely is Cam Ward to be mentioned in this article next year, where this year's version, 18 guys are mentioned? So 18, right? That's what I'm asking here. So on a 1 through 10 scale, how likely is he to be mentioned? 18 guys mentioned this year. Where is he to be that next year, including, the Bo Nix, right? Bo Nix is on the list and others receiving votes. So we'll get to your opinions here in a moment. But first, I want to tell everybody about Lipscomb University's sports analytics program. If you're looking to take that next step with your sports passion, we're all watching this show. It's July 15th, right? If you're a crazy person watching this show on July 15th for an hour of your day because you love sports, you love football, you love the Titans, that's why you're watching. If you want to turn that into a career, you can do that. And Lipscomb University Sports Analytics program can help you take that path, because there is no correct path. There's so many different ways you can make a career out of your sports fandom and passion. One of them can be Lipscomb University Sports Analytics program, online degree for your grad program. You can take it wherever you're at. You don't have to be in Nashville. You could be in Nashville if you wanted to, but Lipscomb University is out there trying to pave the way for more of us passionate people to do what we love, and that is work in sports. So check them out online, Lipscomb University Sports Analytics grad program.
There's so much more to say, but first, make sure you've liked the show and left us a 5-star Google review. Go to Google, search ATOZ Sports, leave us a 5-star review. Give us your feedback. Your feedback is a gift. We appreciate your feedback. We will read your feedback, and we will take it to heart as long as it is in the form of a 5-star review. Please and thank you.
All right, here live on this Tuesday, I want to make sure I reset the purpose of this question as much as I possibly can. So the question being, how likely is Cam Ward to be mentioned in the top 10 quarterbacks article next summer? Because there are top 10 mentioned ranked. And then there are 2 honorable mention. And there are 6 that also received votes to be a top 10 quarterback. So the question that I'm asking is basically, how likely is it for Cam Ward to receive a vote to be a top 10 quarterback? Just one. A vote of 60 people that could rank him. One person can rank him in the top 10. How likely is that to happen, to where he gets his name mentioned, he gets a backlink, he is like among the Kyler Murrays, Brock Purdy's, Dak's, Aaron Rodgers, Tua's, and Bo Nix? Those are the 6 guys who also receive votes, but not enough votes to be honorable mention. That's what I'm trying to find out here. How likely is Cam Ward to be that on a 1 through 10 scale? So I think a lot of the early votes in this Easton, as I saw, were people saying like there were low numbers because they didn't understand what I was asking. So I think the later numbers on 1 through 10 are more appropriate to the conversation specifically.
Yeah, going to the chat here. Jeff says 8.5. Very confident.
Your
Jonathan
audio
on
and
the other end
video
of the
are
scale,
way off
3.
now.
Sick. Well, then you go to the comments while I figure out what's wrong.
I'm going to play the Gino Torretta clip.
Did you see a lot of Cam Ward this past season?
I did. I talked to Shannon Dawson, the OC, and I'm like, well, what's the deal? Because Cam was coming, then he wasn't coming. He was going to the NFL. And then I was like, well, what's the backup plan? He goes, well, we feel pretty good that he was going to come. All I needed was one day of spring ball. I go, this guy has an elite arm. I go, who evaluated him in the NFL? That was my first thought. I go, there's no way he should be here. Like, you watch a guy throw it, you can just see it. I mean, you know, let's say there's 100 quarterbacks in the league. 10 guys, maybe the ball comes off a little different.
Yep.
The other 90, everybody looks the same. You could, you know, put a shorts and t-shirt on, everybody kind of looks the same. And I'm like, they effed up. That was my initial thought, because I was like, he reminded me of when he threw the ball. It was like Warren Moon. When Warren, I remember being in Seattle, it always seemed like he would throw the ball. First off, he never threw a bad ball, always a tight spiral. And the ball would it would almost kind of move for the receiver's angle, make it an easy catchable ball. And that was Cam.
That was Cam, is how that ended there. So now I'm asking the question. Easton, you're back.
Hello.
Test. Yeah, all right, we're good. All right. So how likely is it on a 1 through 10 scale for Cam Ward to be mentioned in the top 10 quarterbacks article for at least also receiving a vote, right? Titans Cal says 5.69. Tall Texans sitting squarely on the fence. Hope your butt doesn't hurt from that. Says completely dependent on the O-line. Jason, butt doesn't hurt because he added a decimal to it. 5.2.
Yep.
Eric 6.9. Maven with a 6. Darius 5.5. Get off that fence, boys. Darius, you guys are doing it right. Jason's doing it right. Tall Texan, you're not doing it right. Top 10, 6.7. Bearded Kunu says if the Titans win the AFC South, it's an 8. But if last place, it's a 3.
That's a hilarious comment. Like, yeah. So if the Titans
true.
are good,
is that wrong? Is it wrong?
No, it's just it's supremely obvious. Like, what are we talking about here? Like, if the Titans are good, then Cam Ward was probably good. If the Titans are bad,
I think he's saying
probably bad.
Well, Cam Ward can be good, and the Titans still suck.
Good enough to be on a top 10 list, though? No. In order to crack this list, he's going to have to be so good that they can't be last place in the division. Unless the AFC South, I'm unaware of it, just becoming the Monstars, and every team wins 9 games.
Oh, look at you.
I was able to reference that before I watched that terrible movie.
No.
I'm not referencing it out of endearment to the movie. You
did it.
Trust me on that.
See how naturally that came to you? Just dropping Space Jam references after you've watched it?
Terrible movie.
Love to see it. Darren says 3, not very likely. Jeff says 1, his supporting cast is booty cheeks.
Put a pin in that one, because Jeff said something earlier I starred that I want to revisit.
Okay, I put a pin in that one too. Steven says 7. Zinzi says 6.9. Eric says a 1. Dr. David says a 7. There we go. Ira Hoshi with a 4. 7.5. Optimistic. Roz Biggie, another 7.5. Todd just says straight up 11.
All right.
Todd was the first guy to get Lamont.
Todd's putting the morgie on Cam Ward being on this list.
Brad 5.1. Lucas 7. And Sean with an 8. Jeff says going into year 3 possibly. Jake 1. Titans just aren't close to being a decent team.
Fair enough.
That's fair. But the Texans, I think that's the interesting thing about this. Neither were the Texans 2 years ago.
Yeah, but you're missing the even more obvious compare. Like, you're right.
Neither were the Commanders last year.
The Texans.
I was going in chronological order.
Right.
So
the Texans were an ascending team, like frisky. The understanding preseason was like frisky. You know, they added 2 top 5 picks, big boost, especially if those guys hit. But nobody expected them to win the division quite yet, right? Like that.
And it took a Jags collapse for that to happen.
It did, right? Like the Texans only won 9 games. In fact, the Texans have not won double-digit games with CJ Stroud yet, something that people, I think, don't quite realize that. Couple of 9-win seasons for those guys. Some real Marcus Mariota years for those guys, if you want to be a real hater. The thing about the Commanders last year that I started from Jeff is, and Jeff is just falling right into the trap. Those dudes, talking about Daniels and Stroud, had much better supporting casts. This is not just a Jeff take. This is a very widespread thing that I have seen all summer long that is just some outrageous revisionist history. Truly astonishing to me, a person that is old enough to remember this time last summer and the way that the Washington Commanders were talked about, which was not even close to good. What are we talking about? The Commanders' supporting cast for Jaden Daniels was widely considered to be, as Jeff so eloquently put it, booty cheeks. They weren't supposed to be good. Their entire free agency last spring was made fun of for going and getting the nursing home squad of weird 1-year contracts and smaller deals, adding nobody of significant importance to their team to help their impending draft pick, the second overall pick, assuming it was going to be either Drake May or Jaden Daniels. And we saw how that went. But the heart of the storyline for the 2024 Commanders was not just that Jaden Daniels was awesome and they made it to an NFC Championship game. It was, the foundation of it was, this team was supposed to suck. They were supposed to be awful, and they were really freaking good because the quarterback hit. So I don't know what Jeff, and again, not to pick on Jeff in particular, I have seen at this point hundreds of people share this sentiment. Search your heart. Remind yourself of how you felt about the Commander. Maybe go on your Twitter and search Commanders and scroll and see what you were saying about the Commanders 1 year ago. Because
probably nothing, because there was nothing to say about them.
Cast. You weren't.
And let's just talk about the Texans, right? The Texans in Stroud's rookie year. Like Nico Collins, 1,300 yards, 3 yards away from it. Tank Dell, 700. Dalton Schultz, established tight end free agent acquisition. That's a legitimate piece for a rookie quarterback. Noah Brown, 500 yards. What did anybody know about Nico Collins before he went for 1,300 yards?
Right.
With CJ Stroud as a rookie? Nothing. Because he had 900 combined in 2 years before CJ Stroud got there.
Nico Collins is still too anonymous for as good as he is, frankly.
I mean, right. He had some injuries along the way that probably affected that to an extent. But Calvin Ridley for rookie Cam Ward is better and more established than Nico Collins was for rookie CJ Stroud.
More established for sure.
Okay. How about Tank Dell? That was his rookie year. He went for 709, 7 touchdowns. Nobody knew
was a third round pick.
At least a day.
Round pick?
I think he was I think he was
a third round pick.
He was a third round pick, 69th overall. So a bigger investment than anything the Titans did on offense. But if you want to just make yourself feel better, like I decided to do for the Titans draft, this is how I view the Titans draft. I put Alec Manor at 82nd overall. To me, 82nd overall pick sounds great. And so, okay, Alec Manor has opportunity to do what Tank Dell did as a rookie for rookie quarterback CJ Stroud. What was Noah Brown before CJ Stroud's rookie year?
Or De'Ami Brown. Or the long lost McCaffrey brother who was a rookie. Luke.
What are you talking about?
Wait, what do you you said Noah Brown.
Noah Brown.
I was thinking Commanders. You're thinking Texans. Excuse me.
He was both. He was there. Nobody knew who Noah freaking Brown was.
I'm mixing signals here.
But no, he was also with the Commanders last year.
Right. That's why.
So you were kind of half correct. But, he had 500 yards in 16 games as a Cowboy.
That's how anonymous Noah Brown was as a Texan.
Exactly.
I forgot he was a Texan before he was a Commander.
So my point is, those three guys put up numbers, put up 2,600 yards. Those three guys put up 2,600 yards for CJ Stroud as a rookie. Nico Collins, Calvin Ridley's got more on his resume than Nico did at that point. You've got Tank Dell, rookie, unknown, and you've got Noah Brown, who had a 500-yard season with the Cowboys. And, yeah, he played well with the Cowboys that 1 year before signing a 1-year deal with the Texans, but it wasn't anything to who, oh my gosh, look at that. The Titans could have that. The Titans have Tyler Lockett. It's a shell of stud Tyler Lockett, but Tyler Lockett, Noah Brown, kind of similar, right? So the Titans receiving core is in a fine position.
And Noah Brown has never had more than 570 yards in a season.
Yeah, and he was the third receiver option, fourth pass catching option because Dalton Schultz had a good year, right? So
Noah Brown's been putting up Chigakonkwo numbers for the past half decade. Like
right. Well, no, honestly, for 3 years. He's only had 3 years of doing that. Before that,
I was giving him the benefit of the doubt. I mean, it's been worse than
the last
that.
3 years he's had 5.
He's also been in the league for way longer than I thought.
Exactly.
News to me that Noah Brown is entering year 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And there's actually a missing year in there. So he was injured for a year, I guess.
Yeah.
That'd
So
be
like,
a 10-year
okay.
NFL
So if you want to compare CJ Stroud's rookie pass catchers to the Titans pass catchers for rookie Cam Ward, Calvin Ridley greater than Nico Collins entering the season. You can't argue that.
No, you can. The nerds were all over it, man. I promise they were. No, they were.
Easton, you can't do that. You can't.
Hang on, are you talking about Calvin that year or Calvin now?
Calvin now versus Nico Collins going into Stroud's rookie year.
I think the nerds would have said it's arguable.
There's no way, Easton. There's no way.
I'm telling you, there's a way. But all right, there's receipts and everything. I can go find them for you.
I mean, they liked him, but Calvin Ridley put up he was one of 23 guys that put up
because that was going into year 3 for
Nico.
Nico, right? Yeah,
yeah, and he had 900 total yards going into that, right?
Yes, it was a very loud drum beat after Nico's sophomore season.
But Calvin Ridley's done.
He was arrived.
Calvin Ridley's had a 1,000-yard season for 3 separate franchises.
Yeah, but we're talking ceilings here. Like, who's expecting Calvin to explode this year? I think he'd be really good.
I think he can.
Well, I guess to define explode, like
I'm just saying, going into the rookie quarterback season, Calvin Ridley's resume is better than Nico Collins' resume going into Stroud's rookie year.
Well, if you're just looking at the numbers, sure.
Resume, that's what I'm saying. Resume. And then you have Tank Dell rookie versus Alec Iamana rookie. Tank Dell drafted by many picks ahead, fine. You can give an edge to Tank Dell if you want, but there's opportunity here too.
This is freaking insane, by the way.
And I'm not trying to have that conversation.
No, I know. This is wild. Tank Dell, Nico Collins is top 10, maybe top 5 receiver in the entire league. Calvin Ridley doesn't touch that list right now. That's crazy.
But
watch Nico Collins. I'm begging you to watch Nico Collins.
I think the conversation I'm trying to have is debunking the Titans supporting cast being lesser than, because you might say there was a underground pounding of the table from the football nerds that Nico Collins was about to arrive in 2023.
It was a hipster take.
Right? But not the general public. And nope. Jeff and I and most of us are the general public, right? People know Calvin Ridley more than they knew Nico Collins 3 years ago.
There's no doubt about that.
So that's the comparison I'm talking about. And so you can say Terry McLaurin caps. Yeah, Terry McLaurin's a badass. Like, there's no doubt about that.
Certainly better, no doubt.
But you saw what the Commanders did with putting some veterans around Jaden Daniels last year in supplementary roles that allowed them to have a reliable group for the most part. But Jaden Daniels was driving the whole thing and was the puppet master of everything. But Zach Ertz was a big deal for them last year. So was Austin Eckler. So you've got Tony Pollard, who can play that Austin Eckler type role. I think better than Austin Eckler. So my point is, I think the Titans supporting cast should not be just dismissed, and then you prop up the 2023 Texans supporting cast before you knew what it was going to be.
Yeah, everybody's right in the comments mentioning that Terry McLaurin was and is clearly a better receiver than Calvin Ridley is at this point in his career, which neither of us are begrudging. No. But in terms of production last year, how many more yards do you think Terry McLaurin had than Calvin Ridley?
Maybe like 150.
Like 70, 60, something. Yeah.
And that's, look, receiving yards last year were kind of weird. Like, you had 2 dudes who had like all of them, and then you had a bunch of guys that were between 1,000 and like 1,150.
Right. But that's kind of my point, is that Terry just got over 1,000 like Calvin did last year. By the way, Terry in a significantly better situation, obviously. And then the rest of the Commanders, again, an NFC championship team, receiving yards leaders was Zach Ertz with 650. Olamide Zaccheaus with 500 barely. Noah Brown with 450. Austin Eckler, the corpse of Austin Eckler with 360. De'Ami Brown with 308, a guy that just got paid $10 million for 308 yards, which is freaking outrageous.
Because didn't De'Ami Brown like explode like in December and January? Or was that?
Yeah.
No?
Yeah, that's where he got all
yeah.
308 of his yards. It's the end of the year. But it's still crazy, right? Like, he had 30
earned in that money,
308 yards and 1 touchdown. Luke McCaffrey with 160. Like, Ertz, Zaccheaus, Brown, Eckler, Brown, McCaffrey, Brian Robinson Jr., John Bates, Jamison Crowder. That was the rest of this team. Titans legend Jeremy McNichols, by the way, scored some touchdowns last year.
Which, Easton, I think all of that is why Jaden Daniels is 5th in the current quarterback rankings on
100%.
Right.
And further proving my point that you are all crazy to think that was a team that you thought was going to be good. No, you did not. No, you did not.
And look, I didn't think they were when I remember we talked about this going into that game. The Titans could beat the Commanders because if you go look at the Commanders' wins, they played the Commanders' schedule last year was kind of like the Indiana Hoosiers' path to the playoff. They beat up on a lot of bad football teams. They did.
Sure. Yeah.
They had a lot of wins against teams that were not good. Titans were one of them.
Kurt Signetti will fight you, but fair enough.
But that's true. Like Indiana made it to the playoff last year because they played like the bottom. I think they played like 7 of like the bottom 9 Big Ten teams.
Yep.
Now, when you're at the bottom because you lose a game and you have to win, so that somebody's got to win, somebody's got to lose.
Self-fulfilling prophecy in a way.
Right. So, but I think Edwards correct. That's when Jarvis Brownlee historically said that the Titans.
Oh man, I forgot about that stupid narrative. I hate you for bringing that back up. That
was when Jeff said they didn't handle success well.
That was a tough weekend, man. That was a
wild game.
When
and
I
also
think
one of
back
Will
on
Levis's best games.
Who? What?
Also was one of Will Levis's better games.
Yes, because within the first 10 seconds of the game, all the pressure was taken off of him, and he could play loose. Right. When I think back on nightmare weekends last year, that weekend comes to mind. And the first Jaguars loss weekend comes to mind, when all the Titans had to do was score 10 points to win the game to beat because Trevor wasn't the quarterback, right? In either of their games, it was Mac Jones. So
that's right. At the point of the Jags game, I was laughing.
That when you talk to Titans coaches, that is the game that they routinely bring up as the my spirit was broken weekend. Not like they gave up or anything, but like that was when they were like, man. This is going to be a long ride.
But that was late though.
Year. What?
That was late. That was a late game.
The first Jags game? Yeah, it was like what, week 12, 13 or something like that.
It was directly after the Commanders game.
Oh, was it? Was it right after? Okay, so those 2 weekends in a row then are what broke my spirit.
And then it really broke against Cincinnati the week after that.
Then it just became
again, that's what I was saying. Like I was laughing at that point.
Yes.
I was laughing.
Yeah.
So, because it was over at that point. So, all right. So back to our original question. We got distracted. I haven't slept much the last several days.
It's July 15. We're clearly just making up stuff to talk about.
But I think it's interesting. I don't know if
it is interesting. We're just kind of there's no agenda here.
I think there's an agenda.
Okay.
So, Easton,
I don't have one clearly. I'm just chatting.
I'm going to re-ask the question here. How likely on a scale of 1 to 10 is it for Cam Ward to be mentioned in this ESPN.com top 10 quarterbacks article next summer as one of the 18-ish to be receiving a vote, just a vote, right? How likely on a 1 through 10 scale?
I will say it is so we're talking about being a top 18-ish guy next year to be name dropped. I'll say like a 6.1 out of 10. Decent chance. I'd say decent. I'm naturally an optimistic person. I think that the way that you finish down the stretch of the season is what matters most because as evidenced by a number of things in these polls, recency bias is a real thing for these executives and coaches and scouts. And I think that that's the time of the year that this Titans team could start to kind of figure it out, show some improvement in terms of trajectory. Cam Ward could play some of his best ball, even if the Titans are maybe out of the playoff race by then. So I'll say there's a chance he finishes with a really nice December and gets a little name drop in there.
Okay. So you're 6.1, you said?
Sure, why not?
All right. I have last year's rankings because I want to see how many honorable mentions there are.
Okay.
And like what that number looks like to see kind of where it was from year to year.
Well, and how many young guys are on there, right?
So there's a lot more.
Okay.
So you have the 10. Dak Prescott was number 10 a year ago. Honorable mentions, you have Brock Purdy, Jordan Love, Jalen Hurts, Tua, Kirk Cousins, Trevor Lawrence. Then you've got just 2 also receiving votes, Kyler Murray and Baker. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Again, another 8. So 18 is consistent 2 years in a row. I think I'm slightly above you. I am at a 6.5.
All right. You going to Price is Right me on that?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a little, yeah, basically. Because I just think there's fatigue going on in the NFL with some guys. Like, I don't expect Tua to be in a conversation
Nope.
next year. What is Kyler Murray and the Cardinals? Like,
We'll
is
see.
he just going to, I mean, again, like it's
hard to say with him every year. You never know.
Right. And my point is, like, does Tua have another year where, okay, now he's not going to get a vote because people are tired of the Tua thing.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Trevor Lawrence didn't get a vote this year. He was an honorable mention a year ago.
He'll be on there next year.
So you do think he'll bounce back?
I think the Jaguars passing attack is going to be so sick this year. I think it's going to be awesome.
Okay.
I think they might have a top 3 wide receiver tandem, like by Halloween. Yeah.
Does Bo Nix take a sophomore slump and he drops off and doesn't get a vote?
Mentally, I have Bo Nix on that Mac Jones trajectory. Like, we may have already seen the best of Bo Nix.
Right. So Aaron Rodgers, he already says he's going to retire. This is it. So he's out. So there's another spot.
Even if you retire, they're still going to put you on this year's list, right? Or maybe not. I don't know. I wonder how it's presented to the voters. Like, is this based on last year, or is it going into this year?
Going into this year.
So you think if a guy retires in the summer that they won't include a guy?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if it was reflective of the year that they had, kind of thing. You know what I mean?
So Aaron Rodgers, Tua, and Bo Nix. There's 3 names that I think are not going to be on the also receiving votes or honorable mention list next year.
Okay.
So there's 3 available spots. So who are these 3 guys? Caleb Williams could return. You just said Trevor Lawrence could return. I think Cam Ward could be a part of that because there's been a flavor of the year. Am I missing anybody? Like, I mean, is Daniel Jones going to just ball out with the Colts? No. Right? No. Exactly.
Bryce Young makes his emergence.
Bryce Young gets a vote.
Technically possible.
Sure.
Who else is not on there? Like Michael Penix could make an appearance if he has an awesome year. The Falcons sure seem to think that he's going to have an awesome year, so we'll see.
Drake May.
Oh, wait, yeah. Drake's going to be on this list next year. Drake is going to – he's already – the groundswell – you're talking about the nerds, the drumbeat of the nerds. The groundswell on Drake May couldn't be louder at the moment.
Okay, so we're just listing the options that could make the list.
Now, Vrabel may keep him off the list because Vrabel might run the ball 450 times. So we'll see about
candidates to I've already removed 3, right?
Yeah.
So candidates to be on the list. We got Cam. We got Trevor Lawrence.
Gino is on this list, right?
Gino did not receive a top 10.
Brother. Gino, he's got to be in contention.
Gino's on the list. Bryce Young on the list. Drake May on the list.
I'm like half joking about Bryce Young. I don't really expect it personally.
Okay, so 4.
Yeah. Who else? Let's see. We go AFC West. We got all those guys. Who else are we missing?
JJ McCarthy.
I mean, listen, that's a team that's won 13
Sam
games
Darnold.
2 years in a row with a bunch
How
of.
about this? Sam Darnold had the year that he did.
Listen, if he does it again, if he has another good year, he'll get a vote. Right?
Okay, I left out Penix. Right. So look, there are when I was counting, there are a half dozen guys, including Cam Ward, who could make their way as got a vote to be the 10th quarterback.
But I think to your point, there feels like there's 3-ish spots up for grabs, and it's kind of a lottery for 6 or 7 guys that you could make. You could see a world where any of those guys fill those spots, and Cam Ward is amongst them.
Yeah. Agree. So I say 6.5. And that doesn't mean, somebody could have a total drop off. Like I'm looking at in the top 10. Who's going to have a total drop off in the top 10?
Read them off. Who we got?
One. Okay. The top 4 are really might
Forget
shuffle.
those guys.
They might shuffle in order, but it's going to be Mahomes, Allen, Burrow, Lamar.
Not happening.
Then you've got Jaden Daniels 5, Matt Stafford 6, who's 37.
Yeah. You never know.
Then you've got Justin Herbert 7, Jared Goff is 8th, who's going into his year 30 season, Jalen Hurts at 9, and Baker Mayfield at 10.
It's tough.
So I think Stafford's probably the only guy likely to completely fall off because of his age, and he might, although he just got the new deal, who knows, right? I'm just going to say I'm more likely to bet. If I'm going to bet one of the guys to drop off, I'm going to bet the 37-year-old to drop off.
If I'm going to bet somebody to drop off, I'm going to bet the guy that
Or Jaden Daniels.
He's only done it for 1 year.
That too. I was kind of removing him from my other
Yeah.
that. Yeah. So,
And there, I mean, like Baker lost his coordinator, Goff lost his coordinator. You never know with those things.
Johnny says Herbert is booty. I don't think Justin Herbert's booty by any means, but I don't like how is Herbert above Jalen Hurts? Ashley asks.
Because he's a better quarterback. Happy to clear that up for you.
Justin Herbert, to go back to the Gino Torretta comment, to me, and I'm not a Justin Herbert expert. I have not watched a lot. I've watched enough. He doesn't jump off the page to me. He is one of the 90 guys who looks the same. He looks good. I think he's good at it.
You're making my head spin.
He just doesn't. To me, I just and maybe it's just because the Chargers haven't done anything with it really. And you talk about Vrabel keeping May off the list. I mean, Jim Harbaugh had them playing hour-and-a-half long games last year with 6 possessions a game.
You're right about that. Yeah.
And I think Justin Herbert's better than the majority of quarterbacks in the NFL. I think he deserves to be in the top 12 conversation. To me, there's no sex appeal for me with Justin Herbert. He's just good.
Yeah, I would recommend you watch. He's certainly a guy that you watch the tape and it is really super duper clear. We don't have to get into a whole Herbert thing, but he is easily a top 5 accuracy quarterback. He is certainly in the conversation for a top 5 arm talent quarterback. He's certainly in the conversation for a top 5 physical specimen quarterback.
Oh, he's a freak athlete.
Very few, very, very, very few count on one hand guys can manipulate time and space in the pocket the way that he can. Really, his biggest flaws are not showing up in the biggest spots, obviously. And which, again, I'll end it this way. Go to Pro Football, the Pro Football Reference, you can do the comparison. You can choose 2 guys and you do the number of years and whatever. Pull that up for Justin Herbert first 5 seasons, Peyton Manning first 5 seasons. They're identical.
Yeah, no, I knew that, but there's a lot of years in between there of the difference in NFL and numbers and stuff. But I'm not saying Justin Herbert's bad.
No, I'm not arguing to you. I'm arguing to the masses that think Justin Herbert is bad.
I think there's a lot of people that are agreeing with you in the chat. Like Chris, the Chargers have not unlocked him yet.
They don't utilize him the way that they should. And to me, to me, Justin Herbert is the 6th best quarterback in the league. Firmly 6. I think it's exactly 6, not 6-ish. I think he's exactly 6 for me.
So you would have
top 4 guys: Stafford, Herbert.
Okay.
So top 3 guys are in a tier for me. Just nobody really cares, but Mahomes, Allen, Lamar are top tier. We can argue over the order. Next tier to me is Burrow, Stafford, Herbert, clear tier. I would say Burrow is the head of the tier, but I do think it's closer than a lot of people give it credit for. And then we can talk about the rest of the guys.
Okay. That's fine. I agree. That's cool. So I think
You have
part
the
of
exact
the
same tiers. You don't have any
no,
disagreement.
I mean, I think it's very logical.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, it's very logical. It sounds good. All right, so I did want to ask the question about what a Cam Ward honorable mention or receiving votes could mean for his teammates. So I'll ask this question. How many Titans players do we think, how many Titans offensive players will be in these conversations a year from now? Because 0 of them were in conversations this year. The receivers comes out this week. Calvin Ridley might make it. Who knows? On the list. I don't know. I'm not expecting it. But how many players on the offensive side of the ball will be in these top 10 conversations a year from now if Cam Ward has a successful season? So we'll get to that here in a second. But the Bone and Joint Institute, they can take care of you when injuries happen in life. You can have somebody you can trust to fall back on to make sure you get that injury handled the correct way, the appropriate way, and to educate yourself on how to manage that injury so you don't have to go back to the doctor's office, because they don't want you guys in the doctor's office. They want to help you have a better, healthier, more active life, and the Bone and Joint Institute can do that. They do a lot of investment in high school sports and youth sports around Middle Tennessee. High school football fastly approaching. That's crazy. High school football starts in like a month with like games, which is nuts and also awesome at the same time. So the Bone and Joint Institute will be roaming the high school sidelines across the mid-state here before you know it, and they can be a big help to you. boneandjointtn.org.
So much more to say, but first make sure you have, there's actually really not a whole lot more to say. There are some more things to say, but leave us a 5-star review on Google, search A to Z Sports, hit that 5th star on the right, leave us your feedback, and we will be your best friends. We might come to your birthday party. We'll see. Just, we'll talk about it, but only after you leave us a 5-star review.
All right. So how many Titans offensive players will be in these top 10 position group conversations next year if Cam Ward has a good year, right? I think that's kind of what I want to go to. I say Darren just says 1. And I don't know, is Cam involved? I guess Cam is probably not involved in most of these counts.
Yeah, I'm assuming people are taking Cam out of the...
Okay, which I think is fair.
Okay, yeah.
Tall Texas says Ridley 1. Eric says 1. Jonathan says Calvin Ridley and Tony Pollard. Jeff says 2. Ira Hoshi says 2. Deborah with 3. Tony and Ridley. So we're getting 2 is maybe the most popular answer. Titans Cal 2, maybe 3. You're forgetting Skoronski. So he goes Cam, Ridley, and Skoronski.
Okay.
Darius going 5.
Whoa.
Ridley, Pollard, Cam, Latham, Skoronski.
I think that's the full list of theoretically possible. You know what I mean? Like,
yes, I agree.
But is the question can be in the conversation or will be in the conversation?
The question is, do you think will be?
Right. So I think this is an answer to a different question, which is can be.
And I said conversation.
I said top 10.
I said top 10 conversation. I'm not saying in the top 10.
That's right. But we're talking about like name drops, right?
Yeah.
In the article. Or if they're not, we're all, I'm writing an article on A2Zsports.com that Monday. Like, can you believe that they didn't even mention so-and-so?
There's Cushenberry too, who could have, and I'm not expecting it, but somebody.
Yeah, I'm not. No, which is not a slight at him. It's a slight at his Achilles. So I trust Lloyd. I don't trust his one part of his leg.
Yeah. If Cam is not involved in this, I think 4 is your max, because you're talking about the 2, you're about Latham and Skoronski, and then Ridley and Tony Pollard.
I could put my tinfoil hat on and like conspiracy theory my way to Gunnar Helm explosion season, but it would require the other guys in the room to fall off the map. It would require Gunnar to have an immediate fantastic season. And the only reason why I'm even entertaining it is just because with the tight end room, that's an easier list to break into. Like, we do see young guys come and go on that list quite a bit, especially with the recent shift towards guys coming in and being immediate receiving impacts at the tight end position, and teams being willing to use them as receivers and teach the block.
Considering number 1 on the list last week was Brock Bowers.
Right. Which, Brock, a top 15, top 10, he was on the top 10 pick, was he? Top 10?
13, 12.
Yeah. Like top half of the first round, argued to be a generational tight end prospect.
He was 13th because
right.
the last quarterback
That's
of the
right.
run went 12, and then he went right after that.
That's right. So 13th overall versus Gunnar Helm, who was 112th 20th. Overall or something, 20th. Yeah. So, expectations certainly a little different, but it's possible is the point. Am I expecting it? Absolutely not. But if we're just talking about guys that could theoretically do it, maybe. I mean, Chigakonkwo explosion season,
I mean, there's a lot of tight ends that got, so there's 10, right?
But how many are solidified, right? Like, do the exercise where you're like guys that could fall off. Because I feel like a lot of that list is guys that are like, any given year,
Well, Kelsey. Right.
I'm even talking young guys that where I'm not sure that they're arrived, solidified themselves on the list quite yet. I
don't know. The young guys are pretty impressive because you get Bowers. Yeah, Bowers at 1, young guy. George Kittle not young, but he's at 2. Sam Laporta 3, he's young. Trey McBride 4, young. Travis Kelce 5th, not young. Mark Andrews is 29.
Andrews and Kelce can absolutely fall off. I mean, Andrews might be moved.
TJ Hawkinson's 28.
Hawkinson's probably not going anywhere.
Isaiah Likely, young guy.
Let's earn a tight end 1 role for Likely. Let's see.
Dallas Goedert.
Getting old.
Good. He's 30. And then David Njoku, 28.
Who's throwing to Njoku? But I love David Njoku. Love him. But
here's the honorable mentions. Long list. Dalton Kincaid, Pat Freiermuth, Hunter Henry, Evan Ingram, Cole Kmet, Jake Ferguson, Johnny Smith. It's
every single one of those guys could not be on the list. Every single one.
7 honorable mentions. Then you've got others receiving votes. Dalton Schultz, Tucker Kraft, Kyle Pitts, Jawan Johnson, Zach Ertz.
See, I think you just named in total 13 fungible names on this list.
There are 22 names mentioned in the tight ends article.
So you know what? I'm including the Titans' top 2 tight ends as guys that could theoretically be on this list. Because, they're putting Kyle Pitts on this list. What are we talking about? Kyle Pitts got a name drop? All
Kyle
right.
Pitts.
Chigakonkwo could get a name drop. Kyle Pitts. Get out of here.
You've also got Tyler Warren and Loveland, too.
Right. Those are, those are guys that are.
No, but I think your point is correct. 22 players were listed. Andre, I can openly admit I was 1,000,000% wrong. That's 100,000% about Bowers. Thank you because we forget about that. Going into the draft, I was like, Brock Bowers should be an option for the Titans at 7. He should be because he's a damn good player and you're a top 10 pick. You go get him.
Yeah, there was a lot. That was a contentious argument. I
was pretty loud. I was pretty loud about being a Brock Bowers should be on the list. If you you hate the tackles there,
I was pretty strongly anti-Bowers purely because I am a offensive line supremacist. So I just you can't tell me nothing. I was my spirit was broken on the Titans offensive line by that point. That there was nothing you could tell me to talk me out of assuming one of Latham or Alt was there. Couldn't do it. So it was less about Bowers and more about, and I also just generally I don't know. Bowers was a guy that's a whole other conversation. He needed to be what he was last year to be worth the pick that he was. And good news for the Raiders. He was what he was. So cool. It worked.
I believe, if I can remember correctly, my rankings were Malik Neighbors no matter what, number 1. Then I want to say I can't remember then I said Adunze. I went Neighbors, Adunze, Alt, Bowers. I think were my 4.
I forget what mine were, but Alt and Latham were 2 of the top 3 for sure. I may have had a receiver in there. I had to go back and look, but I was pretty resolute on getting a lineman.
Everybody loved Malik Neighbors.
Yeah, super obvious, very obvious, fun player. I also just was assuming he wouldn't be available. I wasn't really calculating him as a guy that was going to be there, which he wasn't. So,
it's close though.
Where do you go? Sixth? Fifth?
Yeah, right before.
Yeah, I didn't think the Giants would pass up that opportunity, and they didn't.
All right, So how many offensive players not named Cam Ward will be in the conversation next year? Who will receive at least one vote to be a top 10 player at their position?
Yeah, I think 6 can be. If I'm predicting will be, I'm going to say half of them. I'll say 3. 3 guys are in the conversation.
Not including Cam.
Yes.
Who are those? Who are the 3 you're strongest about?
I'll say Latham, Skoronski, and I'll say Latham, Skoronski, and one of the tight ends. I can't choose.
I'm going Skoronski in this order. Skoronski, Ridley, Latham.
Okay. Yeah. That's fair enough. I'll be curious to see the receiver one of these for this year hasn't come out yet. I'll be curious to see where Terry McLaurin is on that list because again, he the touchdowns, he had 14 touchdowns, like nothing to scoff at, but just over 1,000 yards. But I think he's going to get a boost on this list because of the fact that the exposure was so high because that's a part of it, right? Like Ridley could have a season that's not statistically that much better than this past year. But if it's with an ascendant Cam Ward who's getting all this buzz, then suddenly you're on the minds of all the voters, right?
Exactly. All right. Time for some shade. If you have shade, throw it in the chat. We'll read it. Here we go. Shout out Wilson County Hyundai. They will make your new car buying process so much easier and cheaper, more affordable because they're in Lebanon, not in downtown Nashville. So you can save a little extra money by driving to Lebanon, I-40 East out of downtown. Payne Bone does a great job there. WilsonCountyHyundai.com. If you have shade, bring it. We'll get to it. I would like to have a quickish shade, Easton, because we got a meeting right on. You have to hit the road because you are going out of town.
Right.
Where you're going. The beach. That's vague enough.
Closest beach to me geographically. Just this is a total. Let's just drive until we find the coast trip.
All right, shade. I see you favorited a shade. You want to read Jill's shade real fast?
I will because Jill's shade is it goes. By the way, I'm excited to be doing shade because I have not done shade at least a month. It's been so long. Jill Morris says throwing shade at insurance companies. She's been on a medication for 5 years with success, but now insurance says that they are not going to cover it and denied an appeal. Yeah, insurance sucks. And remember when I was gaslit about having first world problems with my insurance shade a couple of weeks ago, whatever.
Yeah, about the delivery of your child. Yeah.
Says Jill, I stand with you on this, and I hate that insurance company with you. Eric says shade on Quinshon Judkins. No doubt about that. Already.
No way, not Barton Drury Insurance Group. They are helping you. That's not who we're talking about.
Yeah. We're not the people selling you the insurance. We're talking about the ghouls that work for the insurance company that deny care.
You need people like the Barton Drury Group to fight for you.
Correct.
Yes.
Don't shoot the messenger on Barton Drury. They are the messenger here. The Quinshon Judkins thing is crazy. And because he's one of the 30 guys that haven't signed. You know what I mean? The whole second round thing, which I think you guys are going to talk about more Titans slant tomorrow. You and Ryan are. But in terms of his collective bargaining power, he has thrown a wrench in that. Jeff says throwing shade at the SEC fanboys. Here we go. Who still claim they run college football when they haven't even made a title game the last 2 years. And the Big Ten won both. I just don't have the energy to do SEC arguments on July. Congrats, Jeff. Tall Texan, shade on Mahomes being number 1 on the list. Fair enough. I wouldn't have put him 1, but he's still Patrick Mahomes. So, whatever it is. Brandon, shade on how expensive it is to eat healthy. This is true. The incentive structure financially for healthy eating in our obese Western culture now is a little bit backwards, isn't it? Shade on my neighbor's new dog.
One big hamster wheel.
Right. Shade on my neighbor's new dog that has dug a hole under the fence my neighbor and I share and continues. So he comes to your yard to poop. Are you sure that's the dog's idea and not some clever training from the neighbors?
It's just saying, really smart pup there.
Good boy. Go do it in the neighbor's yard. J.M. Gonzalez throwing shade at the battery on his bike. Can't ride until he gets a new one. Shade on the electrician, Titans Kyle says, that was supposed to wire his hot tub. All right. Hot tub in the summer. Kept blowing me off for months because he was contractually obligated to do it for cheap. I had to pay someone else to double to get it done. That's annoying. IR Hoshi shade on Zach for his absence from the show. We told you this was going to happen. He'll be back when the football's back.
Zach will be back on Mondays after every Titans game.
Yeah. So, Austin, do you have shade? I have shade.
Bring it. You start.
My shade is on pretty much every major American sports league besides the NFL when it comes to how they handle their draft. And like, I know the way that these drafts work. This is not news to me. I've known for quite a long time the difference between the NFL draft and the MLB, NHL, NBA drafts. But even despite my knowledge of how they work, every time they come around, I am renewed in my astonishment at how bad they are as an entertainment product. These leagues wonder why the NFL does laps around them. And we've got the NHL and the MLB drafting high schoolers and skaters from backcountry Serbia who might work their way up into the minor leagues during the next presidential term, right? Guys that you're going to never remember. And when you do, you're like, oh yeah, I remember when we drafted that guy a half decade ago. And then the NBA, to their credit, at least they draft guys that are, many of them, ready to play or close to ready to play, but they hold their draft 7 seconds after the finals are over. I mean, there's zero time for a news cycle. And they have, like, I don't know, maybe 10 picks every single year that seem to matter. They only have 2 rounds. Teams trade packages of 7 second-round picks because they mean absolutely nothing. The lottery system is kind of whack, as we saw this year with the Mavericks being rewarded for their mismanagement. They're just bad. Meanwhile, in the NFL, you've got 5th-rounders on day 3 of the television product who this year are going to play hundreds of meaningful snaps, and we know all about them, and the fans already love them, and they're selling jerseys. Like, the NFL rules, man. It's so much better as an entertainment product. It blows my mind every year.
It's hard, man, because that's the thing about the NFL. Again, the common denominator between the NFL draft being like it is and the other ones being bad is the NFL draft is all the US of A. There is zero international ploy in this, right? So like,
there's like 4 guys every year. It's like, this guy's a kicker from Australia. Like,
yeah, but they played college football for 3 years.
Usually, you're right. Yeah.
And so it's hard to project the world when you're talking about hockey and basketball. Baseball is just weird because now you're involving high school players, right? And then like they're committed. Like Tennessee had 2 guys drafted in the top 10, I think.
I saw that. It's like 5 guys overall or something.
Yeah, but like a couple of them were like commitments or signees that like committed to Tennessee, but they're not because they wouldn't get drafted high enough, kind of a thing. So It's just confusing because it's like, okay, I don't even know how you keep up with recruiting in college baseball with that aspect too. It's like, so again, that's fair shade.
Nick says they aren't bad; they're just different. No, they are different and bad. They are actively, I think, not entertaining, not nearly as entertaining as they could be.
The one pushback I'll have about your shade is the NBA draft should be right after the NBA finals.
Why?
Because that's when people are talking about the NBA the most, and they need to carry that over into the draft, and then carry it over into the summer league.
I hear you. That is a shrewd read on the NBA's difficulty in holding our attention.
But that is their window of opportunity is the summer.
I hear you, and even if I'm granting you that, it still is too quick. Like, it's like, if it was, you gotta let the I mean, because again, I'm like tuning into like the finals aftermath on TV because I'm interested in that, and they're already talking draft. Like, can you imagine with the Super Bowl parade hasn't even? I mean, the Thunder haven't even paraded through the town, and we're talking about Cooper Flag. He's going to be off the board in 72 hours. It's crazy. It's crazy town.
It's the right way to do it. They do it that way for a reason because it helps them carry the momentum. Because then you're watching summer league games.
Well. If I worked in NBA media, which I do not and never will, it would infuriate me every year.
Yeah, my shade is at SEC Media Days, not at the event, not at anything. Well, really, it's at Diego Pavia. And
okay, like, what his fashion choices?
No, okay. I don't care what he wears. He said yesterday, the SEC Media Days, I came back to Vanderbilt because I want to win a national championship. Like. There is confidence. There is delusion. I understand athletes have to have the delusional level of confidence to be successful and as successful as they possibly can to reach their ceiling. But there are things that you can just don't have to say. Like there is a way you can say, I'm so serious about this year and I'm so confident in our team's ability to do something without going and just saying something that nobody's going to take seriously. Like, right? Like if we did the show today and the title was Cam Ward will be a top 10 quarterback next year, you guys are laughing at us. But we put the craft behind it of the path to be in the discussion for a top 10 ranking. And some people won't see it that way and they'll still laugh at us. That's fine. Diego Pavia should be confident in his ability to be a disruptor in the SEC as a quarterback at Vanderbilt because he did it last year. He did it in New Mexico State when he beat Auburn. The guy is a disruptor. That is great. I am entertained by Diego Pavia. But nobody at Vanderbilt should let him say anywhere publicly that I came back to go win a national championship because that's laughable. You can say, I'm going to come up here and be a thorn in everybody's side. I came back to Vanderbilt to do something special, to do something that Vanderbilt's never done before. You can say those things. Just don't say come back for a national
He is going to do something Vanderbilt's never done before. No, win a national title.
No, he's not. No, he's not.
It sounds like a you problem that you're saying you're not taking it seriously. Well, you should, because clearly Diego's taking it seriously.
You went too far with it. Like, because my response to that was like, okay, come on, man, let's be real. But then I go, well, what if they go 9-3? Mm-hmm. Okay, if that's legit, but there's no way they're going to go 9-3 and fight for national championship.
Well, I think his logic is it's possible with the expanded playoff. It's possible that they could sneak in, and all you have to do is get in, right? All you have to do is get in, and then you just win your way to the top. Listen. Cynically, I think Diego knows exactly what he's doing, and what he's doing is being a fantastic steward of his school, a school that is desperate for some juice and some attention, and that is juice and attention is exactly what he brings to Vanderbilt. He's a content machine.
And so Jeff says, better not hear Tennessee players say that. Like, I can control them, but one, they shouldn't. Tennessee players should not say they want to compete, or they should not say the goal is to win a national championship or say whatever Diego Pavia's quote was.
That is the goal, to win a national championship.
But that's not how you should talk about it publicly. Like, you can say to compete for a title. You can say to compete at the highest of levels. You can say to be a contender, to contend for something. And Tennessee and Vandy are on very different planes. Very different planes. Right? You know that. It's not a surprise. Like,
you're Tennessee, right. One's really fun to watch lately, and the other one's kind of a bummer.
That's a complete troll job.
I don't know, man. I had a lot more fun watching Vanderbilt last year than I did Tennessee. That's all I know.
Okay. Anyway, but
I think some folks in the chat will agree with me on that, by the way. Who was more fun to watch last year as a neutral third party?
Oh, yeah. Vandy had a couple of games that were really fun to watch. Bama was really fun to watch. Did you have fun watching them lose at Georgia State? At Georgia State?
That was the one game that was a nightmare, not fun football product.
At Georgia State.
Listen, I said neutral third party. Don't come at me. I'm talking about entertaining football product on my TV. And the Vols were a bummer a lot of the time, I'm afraid.
Yeah, they were definitely underwhelming. I'm not saying they lived up to my expectations, but Diego Pavia should not say I came to back to Vanderbilt to win a national championship. That's just not what he should have said. You should have said to compete. I learned
that the quarterback at Ole Miss is like 18 years old. That was news to me. It's kind of cool.
There's not many. Yeah.
He's probably going to get killed out there, but it's still cool.
I don't even know his name.
I was told it and I've forgotten it.
Yeah. I'm not clocked into the SEC yet.
When do you clock in? Most people clock in this week.
Yeah. It's just Tuesday.
Okay. Fair enough.
Sometimes I'm there. Sometimes I'm there at media days. Not this year. Got other stuff to do, but yeah. So. And look, so Vandy beat Alabama for that program. You can't top that achievement.
Yes,
you
can win a title.
Vandy cannot win a national championship.
By the way, in all seriousness, I do think every time Vandy beats Tennessee, it is for that program a bigger achievement than beating Bama. from a personal satisfaction standpoint.
Yeah, but that was number 1 ranked Bama.
I hear like it's more impressive on paper, but for the personal pride of it, I do think that
yes,
beating Tennessee, like I think if you asked Vandy players,
would you have
they
rather
would have
beaten Tennessee last year or beaten
slightly
Alabama
lost to
last year?
Bama and beaten Tennessee, I think they would have traded it probably.
Agree. Yeah, for sure. And that's how it should be. That's how it should be. All right. That's it for us on this Tuesday. Make sure you hit that like button, like the show. We'll catch you guys tomorrow. Ryan's back from his little vacation too. He'll also catch up with a current Titan player that we might have later on this week. So make sure you hit that like button. We'll catch you guys later on. Appreciate it as always.